Newsfirst, NEWSLINE. Newsfirst, NEWSLINE. Newsfirst, NEWSLINE.
A very good evening to you. You are watching NEWSLINE. I am Chathuranga Hapuarachchi. Today we thought of discussing the economic impact of the third wave. There were several questions raised even on last night's NEWSLINE program that the government does not have an understanding economically about what is happening with COVID in the country. We thought of talking about this to an academic, a professional with a political background. Dr. Anil Jayantha of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University, who is also an economist but connected to the Jatika Janabala Vega. Thank you, sir, for being here with us this evening.
It's my pleasure.
I thought, sir, of breaking this down into two. Firstly, to understand the COVID situation and the impact, we have to first understand where our economy stands at this moment. We know the 2020 Central Bank annual report has been released. We know that our debt to GDP has increased beyond 100%, which a lot of people are talking about it, but now we have official records. We know that our reserves have declined. We know our trade balance has widened, even though we have import restrictions currently because of COVID. So, key factors that maybe our viewers understand, maybe they do not, but these things matter to us. This is what decides the exchange rate, this is what decides our loans. So, all of these are important. So, let us start there. Our reserves have fallen. Our trade gap, there is an issue, but there is an import restriction as well. So, how do these things, how do these connect?
So exactly, it's like this, Chathuranga. When we talk about debts, there are two things or two parts. One is the local debt and the other one is the foreign debt. With respect to local debts, the government has a leverage always, being the state organ and the mandate. The government can even print money and settle it, and there is a leverage. But with respect to the foreign debt, so there is no such a leverage, or government can't do any magic unless the government earns adequate foreign reserves, foreign exchange. So, from where the foreign exchange comes to Sri Lanka is from exports and the remittances from expatriates or foreign investments or loans. So, these are the only things that we get. So, you talked about, you referred to this trade gap. Of course, the difference between imports and export decide the trade gap. Government thought initially, since the official reserves were declining significantly, this restriction might help. But when we take the 2020 annual report, it has shown you that it has not given that much impact to you, because the total imports accounted for almost 16 billion. So, whereas your imports 10 billion something, still there is a gap of 6 billion. So, then you need to find it. So, that means you need to have additional 6 billion. So, some part the foreign, I mean, remittances from the foreign expatriates have come around 6 or something. Finally, the current account balance is negative balance is 1 billion something. It's so still there is a deficit. That is one thing. But the government has not shown very clear connected plan how best they improve foreign exchange in future. If you look at the Central Bank report 2020 projection for until 2025, so exports are expected to increase maybe like not that much as the politicians and government officials claim. They claim that our exports would be increased to 30 billion, 35 billion. Some no, even central bank report says next year's expected exports would be 12.5, 14, something like. So the plans are not there. Like they know the basic issue, structural changes are needed. That is something. In the meantime, we are really trapped with the foreign debt. The foreign debts. So now you don't have adequate foreign exchange earning, but you got to settle. For example, I give you one statistic. From the year starting from 1st April 2021 to 31st March 2022, for 1 year, within 1 year, the government as a country, we have to settle foreign loans amounting to $6,900 billion, 6,000 roughly 7 billion. But as of now, the government, the entire country has only official reserves amounting to 4 billion. Still there is a gap.
Even if we spend all our reserves, there is 2 billion, and we can't spend all our reserves. Some are gold.
Technically, practically we can't. Technically we can say okay.
We have, but practically we can't.
Practically we can't. So even spend 3 billion, but there is no assurance. So still trade gap is negative and no assurance for foreign direct investments. It is impossible for the government to borrow from the open market. So there are so many things because the Sri Lanka has been already downgraded by credit rating agencies. So in a way, in a real crisis, but government doesn't accept this crisis. Like government tries to hide it and should tell something else instead of coming forward and revealing this, accepting, so that's an issue. So we'll together solve this issue. So then at least we may find some silver line in this issue. Otherwise, this might really lead to a kind of problematic situation.
Doctor,
sure.
Now NEWSLINE is a program that asks political questions also. You are connected to a political party, so exactly. I have to ask you this question. But the Sahodarayas of the party that you represent, the JVP, Jatika Janabala Vege, they come forward and claim that now people are talking about the port city, there is money coming in. You cannot deny the fact that there will be some sort of investment that happens. Let's not say that it will be utopian like what the government says, but there will be some money coming in. But doesn't that money come into in any form, not directly to the treasury, but that is going to create business within the country. So that is money coming in. If you don't have another way, why not go for that then?
Yeah, okay, good point. Of course, there is an investment, but you need to ask a question. So, whose investment it is? I mean, it is not our investment. So, it would be a paradise or a free zone for financializers to play their game without having any, subject to any rules and regulation and with lots of concession, tax concessions and all those things. Of course, we may argue that there would be some foreign exchange earning, what it is, how much it is, so that is not clear.
Yes.
So vaguely you can say that there would be, so that is not there. But as you just highlighted, we have rights to sell land. Of course, within a period of 5 years, 2023 to 2028, this is at a time period within which government can sell our land. So that would directly come to the treasury. Apart from that, government can lease. So from that lease also some money may come, that would be fixed, the little amount. So you can't do that much miracle and you cannot use those reserves to turn around the economic situation that we face. In the meantime, there would be so many leakages as well. We need to provide services for them, and that may be a tax haven, and even that place may be used by those connected businesses. Actually, those people would be monopolies and oligarchies, not business people that we see in local content. So they use these things to transfer money here and there. So what we call transfer pricing and money laundering are likely to happen. We might get little, maybe something what we call trickle down effect or spillover effect and all these things. So it would not be a strategically correct economic strategy that the government should go. Because meantime, the sovereignty of the country is also just challenged to great extent, and geopolitically, so there may be some unnecessary political interferences as well, because so some people, maybe I do not say that China only, so whoever who comes, they may make use these opportunities for their own benefits and not for our benefits. There is no assurance. So if someone says that this is going to be a very good investment for Sri Lanka, they have to show us. So this is the plan. So there is no such plan. Only thing, so politicians come forward and say that, okay, there would be for investment. Of course, that is an investment for others, not for us. That's the point I want to highlight.
Doctor, now with that being the case, now we see the Chinese defense minister coming, we see the Chinese foreign minister coming. In the short run, now this government is going to, the government's mandate is 5 years. This government is not going to be there when the Chinese people actually do the investment in 2040 odd. Now, if the government gets money now, let's say the Chinese government says, have this as a grant because you approved the Chinese Port City Commission bill. Isn't that also good in a way? Because we are, as you say, we are in a very bad situation. We have nothing to hold on to. So whatever the way out is a way out, isn't it?
Of course. Yeah, in a way we can argue and say that, so if you get something, so that would be good. Actually, we are getting even this thing like peanuts, something by depriving your national interests. So at the expense of a nation. So that is the danger, because this country is not for us to just enjoy within our lifetime. It is for future generations. So therefore, no one has such a right. Even they have the mandate, they have been elected to do whatever they want. So all these things, it is very clearly seen, they offer all these things, so with lots of strings behind. So very clearly China extends certain things, because China knows very well that we are in a debt trap. We need to settle, as I just explained. So therefore, so they don't give that much big amount, small amount. So meantime, other countries also may intervene. So yesterday, or maybe today news, so South Korean government also extended $500 million yesterday. So something like I mean, even borrowing. Now government happen to depend on certain things or the mercy of the others. The same time, we do not know what price is being paid in the name of nation and the sovereignty and so many things are. So therefore, it is not the right thing. But strategy, so like whenever if you are starving, so whatever the food, even that is here and there, whoever who comes and gives you, you take it, of course. So that's true. But as a nation, as a country, there are lots of negative repercussions, bad repercussions of all those things. They are not only economic repercussions, the political and social repercussions as well. So that's why we are highly worried about this situation.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Welcome back, you're watching Newsline. We are going to talk about the economic impact of COVID-19, the third wave. Sir, the situation is bad, it's understood. A lot of people are taking precautions. The travel restrictions have been imposed between provinces. The situation is bad, people understand that. But what is the real economic impact of the third wave? Now, people say the country should have put under a lockdown. The country should have gone through a lockdown. But there is another group that says no, the medium scale, small wage earning, daily wage earning people will be affected if that is the case. Can't the country be locked down and these people be paid with the money in that fund that was created?
Yeah, so actually few things are there, like of course there are arguments about these as how best we recover the economy, whether it should be V-shape or U-shape. There are arguments. So whatever it is, like if the government wants to recover, the actions should be based on information. So one of the biggest problem I see as of now, the actions and decisions taken by the government seem to be not based on real information. So haphazard, so like maybe emotional decisions, and again you see like coordination issues among health ministry and the other COVID or the economy. Likewise, so many issues are there. So that is going to create lots of problems for sure, because we would not be able to recover. That is, if we really want to recover. What I am saying, in meantime, the government has to understand another thing. It was not an economy that we should recover and place it back again. Why I am saying economy that we were experiencing or generating income to the nation was not such a flourishing economy. It was really dragging and experiencing downward economic trend starting even need not go back to the past like last 5-6 years,
Right.
5%, 4%, 3%, and we ended up with 2.3% in 2019 even before COVID hit. So our first quarter economic growth was negative 1.6 something. So therefore if we try to regain what we were having in the past with or even at a cost, so it's not really beneficial for the nation. It is not going to solve the problem that we were experiencing.
Yes.
It has created so much injustice, inequality among the nation. For example, 2020 Central Bank has revealed that our Gini coefficient is the kind of statistic that measures the inequality in income distribution.
Right.
It has increased from 0.398 to 0.45. So inequality in income distribution, injustice, all those things are there. Just take a situation, this is COVID. Now, it's a bad thing. It affects the economy, of course. So the income level has gone down. Finally, 2020, our GDP has gone down by 3.6%. That is understood.
Yeah.
If that is the case, even big people, big in the sense in terms of money, wealth, and economic power, and all those people, even a poor person, so should have been affected in a way, maybe proportionately, all should have paid the price, penalized. But if you take the statistic, what has happened? The big guys, those who have economic and political power, has earned billions of money even within the COVID. How come? So poor people, innocent people, those who do not have means to live are paying the price. So lots of inflation situation.
But sir, that depends on the business that they are in. For example, if someone is bringing in medical equipment, they would have made a profit this time.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. So this situation, opportunity has been utilized to just gain lots of benefits for few. Those who, like as you mentioned, this, and the bankers, and those who have connection with government, importation, even lots of rackets. Nowadays there were lots of news about sugar importation,
oil, yes.
coconut oil, so many things.
Yes.
How come these things happen? Because like even the COVID has become a disguised fortune for this few, the crew, corrupt people. So therefore, if really government is genuine enough to re-establish or establish kind of a resilient economy that is beneficial to the nation, should not think of playing with this situation. Actually, they have to come forward and decide a plan where all the resources of this country, including the human resources, are going to be used in the production process. And it shouldn't be isolated policies like restricting importation or just things like that, and releasing lots of money. Nowadays, the money printing has become another issue. The money printing will not guarantee that the production will go up.
But sir, the theory of this, the modern monetary theory, the Keynesian theory, all these are brought by people who have very high, the ministers who have very high posts in the government. So you are a professional, you are an academic, then can't you all argue about this? Now this is being said openly in the public, people come and say we are bringing the modern monetary theory. If it is not working, if all of you all are saying it's not working, but yet if that is happening, then there is a problem, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So very good that you raised that particular point. Actually, modern monetary theory, MMT, just for the benefits of the listeners or the people of the country, it's not a policy, it's a theory. Theory argues when you print more money, the money can be put into production processes and the production process goes up. Therefore, first you put money in, then the production comes in, it balances. It's a theory, unit test. But this theory has been heavily argued in countries like USA. Actually, this MMT was discussed in USA.
Yes.
USA has enormous power of doing so in a way. Even we don't have evidence that MMT has worked even in USA.
Right.
But theoretically, you can argue why USA can dollars as much as they want. Why? So most of the foreign
nations deal with
dollars and the debts. So would be in the dollar denomination. If you print rupees, so can we settle our foreign loans with rupees? No. So there is no way. So therefore, it is not going to be a solution for us. That is one thing, even theoretically. Theoretically, yes, of course, you can argue a little bit if you print more money and put that into a kind of production process of the channel or the program, there may be an opportunity if we have unemployed human resources, unemployed resources. So to some extent, but as far as the employment is concerned, so almost our unemployment is very little. Therefore, we have very little chance that the human resources can be employed, but maybe different structures.
Yeah.
But there may be some other resources. To that, even to do that, you need to have that particular plan first.
Right.
Without having that particular plan, if you print money and release into the economy, for sure, now as it is evident in the economy, that money will never ever go for production. So had it happened during this particular year, production should have gone up. No,
Yes.
production has not gone.
Production
Even
remains.
industrial sector, so 3.6 minus economic growth, our industrial sector has been most affected. So it has gone down by 6.9%, almost 7%. So where does this money go? So that is another question we should ask. So actually this money goes from the central bank to big bankers, from big bankers to big companies, those who have already money.
Right.
So what are you going to do with money if you have already excess money?
Yeah.
Unless you put that into the production channel or to produce goods, which is really useful, needed for the general public, this money goes for share market, playing in the share market, derivative market, and foreign exchange market. This is what we call financialization. So they earn quick bucks by using these things.
Right.
So that is the danger. And on one hand, they earn lots of money. Meantime, since there is no increase in the production, on the other hand, there are a huge amount of money. So even central bank has accepted the money printed that is there. So production has not increased. So imbalance is there. Less amount of production, huge amount of quantity of money. This imbalance really creates or really fuels the inflation.
So I want to, if you bring us to an interesting point, I want to ask you this with time very quickly running out. Now, the exporters in our country, the understanding is you cannot export if you don't import, because our raw materials are what is being imported. That is number one. Number two, our exporters are heavily taxed at the moment. But we see situations like this Port City bill that we discussed, where for the fun of it, amendments are made and certain decisions are taken with regard to tax.
Exactly.
Why can't the exporters be given certain tax reliefs, at least during this time, if our objective is to bring in money? Why can't the government do that or think of that?
If the government really genuinely wants to improve the production and promote the exports, so they can think of all those things. So not only giving some tax concessions, of course I agree with you, so that can be given to them, and meantime the government should have a plan to diversify our exporters.
Right.
And again we need to find different destination of export. So as of now, due to some other reason, our the foreign trade is like
limited to a certain number of countries.
just confined to certain destination. We are trapped in a way. So we import from China and India, and our export just go to traditional textiles and all these things. So it has not been diversified. So that's a very valid point. Not only taxation. So I argue that if they really want to solve this problem, just find a solution for this particular problem, while increasing the national production, the local production, domestic production in Sri Lanka, of course, we need to increase the size of our foreign trade, without which there would not be a solution, because we live in a globalized economy, either we like it or not. In a globalized economy, if you produce yourself, then self-sufficiency will not help, because we need to interact with the world. We need to import whatever we want, as you said. So most of the importations as of now are not for consumption purpose. It goes for production, intermediary goods. So it is essential. But we do not know up to what extent we use those things to production processes and re-export. So you import and increase exports. So by analyzing what's happening in the world, take into account global supply chains, take into account how the technology and what technology is expanding, how technology is just going through here and there. Just arrange your resources, especially your human resources. We have such a capable, skillful, competent human resources, but the lacking part, the government doesn't have a plan for this thing. If you do that, not only the exports from these production, but also exports from these human capital can be increased. If you go, no matter what government, UMP or JVP, whoever who comes to power, they have to think of this line of exports and the national economic plan. Otherwise, we will not be able to claim that we are we are a developing country. We would live with this actually. as long as you have some food to eat, you can survive. So is that worth enough for a nation, or in the name of human, because we are human? So being a human needs to maintain certain dignity and the quality of life. Forget about all the other luxuries. Being humans, you need to have very good food, good health, good education, good shelter and social life. At least if you can't provide, government can't provide all those basic things for humans, it's really ridiculous. I mean, so I mean, that is not a society in which we can live in harmony. So that, I mean, as National People's Power Jatika Janabalawegaya, this is our wish. And we work for this thing. We urge general public to be aware of this and work together and to create such a society.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Jayantha, for those views. Are we going to survive, or are we going to actually develop? The question remains. That was Dr. Anil Jayantha of the Sri Jayawardhanapura University. We are going to quickly cross over to the Prime Time English News Bulletin. Thank you very much for watching Newsline. I'm Chathuranga Hapuarachchi.